5/1/2026, 8:51 p.m. Central Standard Time, Dixon, Illinois. The Lizard Lounge Sound Studio is talking about time again. Time travel dream dilation. Captain Christopher, please proceed. This is a really weird one. I'm certain this should be interesting.
Yeah. So, dreams, guys. Dreams are interesting things. Dreams can reveal a lot about what you're going through. They can shine a light on problems you have. They can reflect things that you desire. They can point out things that you would rather change. They can bring back memories. They can connect you to loved ones here and in the afterlife. Can connect you with friends. You could be picked up in someone else's dream and have no idea who they are. You can share a dream with many people. You can share a dream with people that have never met each other. Dreams are magic. They work in many different ways. Last night, I traveled forward in time. A lot. And I was not alone when I did this. Because this concept is not mine alone. In fact, it was something I hadn't really thought about. So, I've been watching a lot of paleontology stuff lately, and that frequently has to deal with the shifting of the continents to explain what the land looked like back then. And I guess that got into my subconscious. I started looking forward to hundreds of thousands and billions of years into the future, when Earth's continents shift and change, and the face of the Earth no longer looks like the face of the Earth. It was a strange experience. Not only was the terrain of the Earth different, the state of humanity was too. So let's talk about the mechanics of how this time travel worked. Somewhere on the planet, someone had created a cryo chamber. And this wasn't a last-ditch place for people to hide and wait until the world was safe again from an apocalypse. It was a way that a group of people was choosing to experience time on Earth. They would go to sleep for hundreds of years, and then wake up and explore and see how things had changed. And then, when satisfied and having experienced what the world now had to offer, they would go back to sleep and do it again. each time I woke, the world was different. It didn't look like it used to. Fundamentally, human civilization was different. The old cities that we know now were no longer a thing. They couldn't be. The Earth's surface had shifted too much for it to be even remotely possible for the previous constructions to endure. Even their locations could not be maintained. Importance shifted to other points in the globe. And what stood out to me was the ebb and flow of humanity's propagation. Just as you might expect, we did better sometimes over others based on the conditions of the world. But we never, ever lost our grasp on the planet. And we never actually walked backwards either. We continued to move forward. Calamities may have made us lose our place for moments, but we would come back. And every time, the towers looked different. What does that mean? Well, there was another aspect to it. I didn't just come back to gaze on the new and different city skylines. Absolutely not. Went in deeper to see how humanity was doing. And this is where things didn't change. We were still the same flawed, simple individuals. And I didn't look to the stars. I didn't look to see how far we might have gone from the planet. No. I was just fascinated by what we were still doing. It turns out that as I saw things, we have it right as it is now. We are not building towards the end. We are building towards new challenges, the likes of which we have never had to consider previously. The scope of time is dilating for all of us. The meaning of time is changing. We count our time as a drop in a bucket, a minute little tick on a massive calendar, the start of which we have no true idea of, and if there is an end to the days, we don't know. But our time will always dilate to become larger, even if, proportionally speaking, it never changes. What is certain is that humanity's place in time will never stop. Time, as we age, feels shorter. Feels like there is less of it for us to use. But that's just our perception of things. Technically speaking, you have used more time as you age. Whereas your perspective when you're younger is that time is something you are still getting just a little bit of. And that little bit seems like so much because you have yet to even figure out what to do with any of it. And as humanity's place in time expands, it's going to seem a lot smaller to all of us because our individual times are already dilating, already expanding beyond what they were capable of in years past. We're moving forwards. We'll never step backwards. I believe time doesn't exist, at least somewhere. But if it does exist at all, our perception of it changes. We have to accept that. We have to expand how we think about our time. The projections of what we set out to achieve, these will turn from years into decades, and decades into centuries, and so on and so forth, because the projects that we choose to pursue will require that much time. Throughout history, some of our greatest accomplishments were started by people who would never see their completion. And humanity's endeavor to go forth and propagate is just that. Things will change along the way, and this is why it's difficult to see farther into the future, because we understand the world as we see it now. But as time changes, the very face of this planet, it no longer looks like our own. It becomes alien to us. But trust that it is ours. And no matter how close or far these continents are from one another, we'll always be clinging to this rock. And we'll always be doing it the exact same way that we have the whole time. With each other. In the simplest ways to spend our time. These massive constructions to house us and support us are for that. They are, their purpose is to support the simple, the comfort, the joy, and the love that comes from us being together and safe and good. I don't know how many different times I woke up in last night. But as different as they all were all us. Tonight, I don't expect I will dream the same. I expect I'll be somewhere else exploring the dreams that we have. Not every night will I share what I have seen. I thought a lot about whether or not to turn on the mic tonight. But finally, deja vu hit me, and I knew that this recording had to be.
This has been a presentation by the Lizard Lounge Sound Studio. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below, and stay tuned for more from the place where time indeed does not exist.
I mean, sometimes you just have this amazing experience that blows your mind, and it'll always be with you. You'll always remember it. But the way that memory works is frequently the details will fade. You'll still remember it. The nostalgia will exist. But if you record it, if you write it down, if you draw it, if you paint it, it becomes more solid of a memory. And dreams fade so quickly.